Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. This video we're going to talk about our 1-year review, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey everybody, I'm Jim.
I'm Corinne.
And our channel is RV into Retirement. And this is our 1 year, or a little bit past 1 year, or about 1 year and 2 months update. And we'll talk about some of the good things, the bad things, and really things that sucked during the first year. But for the most part, it's not stopping us. We're not going to stop doing this. We enjoy it. In fact, we're really into it at this point. Mm-hmm. So if you saw in some of our highlights were we had some maintenance problems last year. We ended up having to be out of our coach for about a year. And a year.
Felt like a year.
We had to be out of our coach for a month or 6 weeks, and we stayed at my son's. We made the best of it, so we got to visit family and friends, and other than financially, it really wasn't that bad. What else happened during the year following that? So I'll put a video about what happened at the 6-month point right up there. But after that, some of the challenges that we had.
Well, I'm trying to think of when that 6 month, after that 6 month, I guess that was in the summer. So for the fall, I think it still always circles around repair. What things we need to be have repaired. Again, I think our coach, we love our coach still. We have to remind ourselves sometimes when things are going wrong, but it's just a matter of just keeping, keeping what the good things are on it and in this lifestyle, but then also thinking about where we can get repairs is always a key thing. But for me personally, I'm getting closer to retirement. I'm within 12 weeks of my retirement, so I'm very excited. So for me, I've been working all along, making sure we have have good internet. So that's always a thing. But as far as, and then you're off dealing with all the repair things while I'm working. So it sort of equalizes, I guess.
Yeah, I would put the repairs in 2 categories. There's things that you can do yourself and you should do yourself. If you're going to do this lifestyle, you absolutely need to become handy, and I've always been mechanically inclined, but this has taken this to a whole different level. Mm-hmm. And just know where the dividing line is, where you can not do the work and to call in an expert. And let me give you an example. So we have slide issues. Okay, so our coach is kind of unique. It has air bladders that go around the slides, and so when you put your slide in or out, there's a pump that evacuates all the air out of the slide, out of the rubber seal that goes around your slide, and you move your slide out, and then you turn it back on, and it fills up, and it creates a seal. And we have 2 of those now that have a leak in them. And so the leak is a bit of a pain in the butt for a couple of reasons. It causes our compressor to run because it's trying to refill the seal. So we created a workaround where you can flip a switch and shut that off. But even more importantly, it's difficult to bring the slides back in. So I have to go underneath the coach. I have to unhook the airline. I get all the air out manually, and then I bring our slides in. I made it sound simple, but it's a real pain in the butt to do.
Which you stress about for a long time before, and think about how we're going to do it and how we're going to travel and all that. Because one of the key things about the slides is not that it just gives us more room, is one of those slides happens to be connected to our bed. So that creates a big issue of how we're going to sleep. So we have to sleep either somewhere else if we don't want to, if it's an overnight thing and we don't want to bring the slide in, in this situation. It's only because of in this situation that we're having all these problems. So that's been a big drag, I think, the slide thing. But we are going to get those fixed. We're going to get those replaced because we do not want to continue having these issues.
I made it sound easy, like you just take the airline off and deflate it, but it's not that simple. Yeah. You have to trick the system by using jumper cables across a switch to let it know that the air is all out. And the other thing is you don't want to have the seal roll on itself because it's not completely deflated. So anyway, we're going to HWH in Moscow, Iowa, and we're going to get those fixed. Our coach is a 2009. The seals dry out, and we've been told they use a different type of seal, so hopefully we don't have that problem in the future. Probably the second biggest problem we've had is with our toilet. And so we have only one bathroom, one toilet in our coach, and it's in the very rear of the coach. And so to understand, most toilets in RVs are in the middle of the coach, and when that's
where your black tank is, so it can just drop.
Right.
Ours cannot do that.
Right. So
I'll put it in all layman's terms because I don't have any technical skill.
Ours has basically a macerator, and it has to pump the liquids and solids to the black tank, forward from the back of the coach to the front. And so the macerator went out. And so we had times where, we couldn't flush our toilet. And so you have to, if you're at a campground like we're at now, you just go to the local facility, but that's not great if you have to go in the middle of the night.
It certainly has brought a lot of more closeness. Like, it's redefined what closeness is in our marriage. Because, we were...
It's a continuing problem with our plumbing system.
And you've taken the toilet. He's taken the toilet apart, like, how many times now?
Probably 6 times. I've replaced the entire insides of
except that one
what
piece.
It makes it work.
That one piece.
Yeah, except for one
that
piece.
One piece.
We're down to one piece to make it 100%. And so, I think at this point we're going to just spend $1,000 and buy a new toilet.
But I want to make sure that that's actually going to fix it. So we have one more thing that we're going to try is just try to clear out the line. The other thing about all of this plumbing toilet issue is that you're mechanically inclined. This was not in your comfort zone doing any kind of plumbing, and you've done definitely. And
the
plumbing.
Only reason I did it, so we lived with this problem for probably 3 months. I had a technician scheduled to meet us in Arizona. I had the replacement parts. He came out, took the whole toilet out, and then found out that I had the wrong replacement part. So he put it back in. But the important part of that story was watch when somebody is fixing your RV, because I couldn't get him to come back out when I got the correct parts. So by watching him and by taking photos and such, I was able to do it myself. Now I could do it almost in my sleep. I don't like doing it. It's heavy, it's dirty, but you do what you have to do. I think those were the two biggest issues that we experienced, other than being out of the coach for some work. And you're going to find this if you buy an older coach, and we definitely recommend that you do buy an older coach. I would put around $10,000 to $20,000 aside to fix things that either were neglected or that dry out and age over time out of lack of use.
The other thing, and we've talked about it before, but the other thing is if and when you do buy a coach and it's been used, know and understand how much has it been used, how much have they replaced, see all those receipts, because that kind of will give you a clue. Have they replaced a lot of things. Like by the time whenever we end up selling this, and I don't know when that'll be, it's not going to be anytime soon, but by the time that happens, we'll probably have rebuilt this coach. That's how I feel, because we're putting so much into it. So I think that's also important to know what has been done to the coach and how much has it been used. Like this coach spent time in Arizona. Was not used for quite probably at least a year or so, maybe even longer. I don't know, and that was not good. When a coach is not used, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about the highlights now. So probably the number one highlight for me is the great, fantastic people that we have met along the road. And we've developed really good relationships with these folks. In fact, one couple, George and Kathy, and their son are going to come meet us. They're going to park right over behind us over here. That'll be the second time that they've come and met us out on the road. Another couple, John and Cheryl, they are in Tucson. We visited with them, but we originally met them in Texas. We'll be staying at their house when our coach goes in to have the slide seals replaced. The network that you develop out there on the road is absolutely incredible. And then I guess second to that is all the different places that you get to experience. Right now we're in Desert Hot Springs, California. And we got here by mistake. And I had watched...
It was a gym era, which turned out to be a good one this time.
Yeah, so I watch... one of the YouTube channels I watch is Our Journey in Miles. And they had stayed at a place right here in Desert Hot Springs, and I can't think of the name off of the top of my head. But it began with a C.
That's all we needed.
And so I thought, oh, well, that looks good. Maybe we'll spend our winter there. So I went and looked, and I found Caliente Springs. I said, oh, this is it. It's got to be it. Well, it turns out it's not it, but we found that it is exceptional. It's probably... We've been all over the country in the last year and a half, and it's probably our second most favorite. We really like this place. People are really nice. The spaces are just so nice. We love our spot. We've got, it's big. We've got that. They've got faux grass, so you've got, for our dogs, it's really nice. They can lay out, kind of out on the grass, and it's just nice. It's a nice community. We like that we can walk around. We walk around at night, and it's nice. It's kind of nicely lit. It's got a lot of palm trees. We got beautiful mountain views. I don't know what else to tell you. It's got the hot spring pools. We really, really like it. We like it enough that we're going to come back. Yeah, we already booked for next year, and the hot springs pools are really cool. So, we're along several fault lines down here in Southern California, and there's these mountains that are behind us that are all snow-capped. It's
beautiful.
Yeah, just beautiful. The snow melts off of that. It goes down into the earth, and next to the fault lines it gets heated up by the core of the earth, and they pump it up, and they have 7 pools here that you can go in.
With between the hot tubs and this gigantic pool that I didn't even realize it was for a few days that it was all connected, they're very active. It's an active 55 community, so they're very active as far as, there's always people there. I mean, it's just
honestly, it's like the fountain of youth. I mean, I have never seen active seniors like these folks here.
So for me, it's been really good because I have been having problems with my shoulder for now. I'm going on to my, I think it's almost 3 months. It's like 2.5 months, something like that. And I had, I guess what I must have torn something up here in my shoulder. And anyway, it's going into the hot springs. It just relieves everything. It just feels it's really, really been good for that too. But a lot of people who come here, we've met a few people who come here because they have either arthritis or they have back problems or whatever, and they come here and they go into the pool, and it just helps. So and we've really enjoyed it also because this area of California, we're sort of like in it's sort of like I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but we're sort of out of the traffic of like Palm Springs and Palm Desert, but we're 20 minutes away where we can go to all the nice restaurants and everything. So we really, there's a lot of things
really,
we really like
nice
about it. Like we're not I don't really like to be on top of people and right inside a city or anything like that. But it's beautiful there. But we can drive there. We have all the conveniences, all the shopping, but it's not right on top of us. So
I'll put a link below to Caliente Springs. They have a sister resort about 3-4 miles down the road called Sky Valley Ranch, and it's for all ages there, and this one is 55 plus, although I've seen people visiting here with grandkids. They're not strict on rules here. It's beautiful. You're surrounded by mountains on all sides, and like Corinne said, it's a quick jaunt to go to, nice places to eat.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, so I think it's the people, it's the places that we've gone to. We've learned, even being here, we've learned a lot about, because I'll start reading. Okay, so we're right near the fault line. So the San Andreas Fault, which, I've read about and heard about, and you always worry about the earthquakes and everything. But I've learned a lot. Certainly we've learned a lot. We've learned about these little, these palm oases that are in the desert. And we went to see one, and then I can recognize them now. But that's what I like. Every time we go somewhere else, we're learning about different things that we didn't know anything about. In Arizona, we didn't know anything about any of this. So that's probably one of the other parts I love about traveling.
Yeah, unless we're in between two places. We usually stay a month or more at a place, and we've talked about this before. It's because we become part of the community in the town, part of the community in the RV park, and you really get to soak in and enjoy some of the different cultures and things to do, and it really makes life interesting. And when you do all these different things and you put it in perspective of if you were at home, you do pretty much the same things all the time. It really keeps
when you're at home.
Yeah. When you're sitting at home, I mean, you can't get the amount of variety you get while traveling on the road. And
so one of the other things about that that I've also recently learned because of the problems I had with my shoulder is medical care. And so that's always a little scary because you're away from your home, you're away from your doctors or the comfort of your doctors. And so when I came here, well, we were in Tucson. So when I was in Tucson, I went to an urgent care. And so they, the doctor just kind of looked at it, whatever. And I knew it wasn't like a specialist or whatever, but I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing terribly wrong. So at that point, and he said, you may want to try physical therapy. So I said, okay. So, but at that point, I was only like a week or so out of coming to California. We were going to be here for 2 months. So I said, I'll start it here. I came here right away. I found a place for PT. I love the place. I've been using that place. And then I decided, because I was having still a lot of problems, a lot of pain, ended up going to a specialist here. Found it, it's not any different. And I haven't found that to be a challenge. I think the biggest challenge is making sure you're going to be there long enough to get whatever treatment you need. So, I mean, I'm here, I'm going to be stopping PT probably within the next week or so because I feel like I'm really in a good spot.
And, like Palm Springs is a big area, so you're going to get good health care.
Very good health care,
but even in McCall, Idaho, which is a small town up in northern Idaho mountains.
Where I fractured my elbow.
And you still were able to get good care there.
I got good care, yes.
So I think that fear has been eliminated. I think the longer you're on the road, some of these umbilical cord to your home base gets severed. So
agreed.
Originally our thinking was, every year we want to be back in Phoenix area.
You don't have to do that.
I
mean, I know a lot of people do it, but you don't have to, because first of all, things come up we're not, we're not 20 years old. Things do come up during the year, so you have to be flexible in being able to get the care you need. But I look at it as, if God forbid we had a really serious health issue, we also have the flexibility. We can go anywhere we need if we needed to go some specific place. So that's sort of the plus also. We could always make that trip and then plant ourselves in a place where we wanted to get the best of care, right?
Yeah, in fact, we saw when we were in Twin Falls, I had noticed at the hospital that they actually had RV and hookups. And yeah, it was for traveling nurses, but I'm sure you can use that. Right. Too, and I know David Bott from outside our bubble. He did that. He had some medical care in Texas and was staying in an RV park that sort of catered to that.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
So I think those were good things. So one of the things we've done in the last year is we've watched the Weather Channel just about every single morning on our TV. And we've done that to really try to get an idea on the different places at different times of the year and what kind of weather they're experiencing. And I think we've narrowed it down to that in the wintertime, we want to be in the Southwest. For us, it just works. And I know Florida is warm also, but I've lived in Florida and it's also got a lot of rain and a lot of humidity. And I think probably the number one thing that I see people have problems with their RVs is water and humidity, mold under their beds. And we try to avoid water and rain.
But then, but for us, also our perspective is that we've lived in Arizona for many years and we're not accustomed to that kind of weather either. So that's part of it. So Jim had moved to Arizona when he was, young adult, and I moved to Arizona when I was about 40. So I think, and I made that trip. A lot of it was because of the weather. So I think that's also our mindset. Our mindset is just that I don't want to be where it rains a lot. I like the sun. The sun really makes me happy. So I think it's really a personal choice. A lot of people obviously love Florida in the winter, and I know that. It's just, I don't think it's for us. I mean, maybe one day we'll do it for the winter or something, but I just don't see it. I lived on the East Coast for many years, and I just don't see it for us. Yeah. I just know what that life kind of is, and I just prefer it. I like the dryness out here. I like it.
Yeah, I think, it's a personal preference. I think we tend to travel more in the West anyway, so it's less crisscrossing. It's not to say that we're not going to do it. Right. We probably will do it after Corinne retires. So I sort of feel like
12 weeks.
This whole adventure hasn't even really started yet.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, Corinne's been working and we want to stay somewhat stationary, good internet, and just that stability of not traveling all the time, because moving, she needs to work. And, it becomes difficult, especially out west where there's vast stretches where you don't get internet.
Yeah. So.
But that's about it. I think that, let's see, if you were to ask us our two favorite places that we've stayed, it would be Caliente Springs and McCall RV Park. Idaho. It's tough to beat when you find a good place. And
so we plan to be there this summer, and at that point I'll be retired, and I'm looking forward to that because I'll be able to do things that I wasn't able to do when I was working all summer. One of the things we're going to do is we want to do a lot more hiking. They have a local hiking club, so we're planning on joining that. We'll get to take our bicycles out a lot. And just enjoy, the small town living that we get there, and not having to work is going to be very nice. I'm just really looking forward to it because I see, gym every day. It doesn't have that same, I have to get up. I have to get on work, especially when we're being in California. I'm an hour behind my work, so I have to get on like, I'm getting on like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning here, and it's already 8:30, 9 o'clock there. And so I'm going right into meetings, and then sometimes I'm, working until like 5 o'clock there, which is 6 o'clock here. It's just, I'm so done with it. I am so done with it. So it'll be nice. Looking forward to it. Just really looking forward to it. Like I said, 12 more weeks. Figure it out. It's a lot to figure out. And a lot's going on in the world now. So that kind of tips me a little bit, makes me a little bit, worried about things. But in the end, I still, we're still just keep moving forward. And it's just can't wait to get started.
So if you're still with us in this video at this point, there's 2 upcoming videos that we're going to do. One, if you see Corinne's shirt, it's Rails to Trails Conservatory. And basically it's about riding your bike on former railroad paths, and that they remove the railroad ties, pave it over, or make it a good thing. And we'll talk about our electric bikes. And the thing I wanted to talk about was, we originally bought Lectric, Lectric bikes, and you see a lot of RVers using them because the company Lectric sends them out to them for free. And I'll tell you the good and the bad, and it was more bad than good with those, and caution you about making that your first choice of an electric bike. And then the second thing, I've been dabbling the last month or so in making passive income with cryptocurrency and using bot or robotic trading methods to generate a passive income, which is something a lot of people ask about. So I'll be doing a video on that in the future also. But until then, any final words?
No, just if you're thinking about going and doing this, do it. Do your research and then do it. You only live once. Enjoy your time. But that's it. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, sometimes we have, I wouldn't say it was regrets, but we're like, oh, it's another thing that we have to repair or whatever. But in overall, when you look at the whole year, very happy that we're doing it. I can't imagine going into my retirement in my house and saying, okay, now what am I going to do? I just don't know how. This for me and for us, I think, just has really worked well. We enjoy it. We have a lot to look forward to and places we want to go. So
I'm going to leave you guys with this. I see a lot of posts on Facebook right now because fuel prices are high, and people saying, oh, our RVs are going to be sold. They're going to be glutton on the market. Nobody's going to do their traveling because of the fuel prices. And I have this saying, and I don't know where I picked it up, but on my deathbed, I'm not going to be thinking about, I'm glad I saved, $1 a gallon on fuel and not traveling in 2022. I'm going to be wishing that I did more adventures, and that's what we plan on doing. Life goes on, and it sucks spending more, but
you know what? So you travel a little bit less. You stay at places a little bit longer. You don't go as far away in your trip if you need to save and reduce. And that's what we think about too. Is like it's very expensive to move a lot. So how can we reduce that movement and therefore the fuel costs, right?
Yep.
So that would never ever ever keep me away from doing this, and I hope it wouldn't keep you from doing it if that's something that you want to do. It's really, in the end, I would say you will regret it. You will regret not doing things just because it's going to cost you. Just figure out another way to do it.
And on that note, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
We hope to see you on the road. Stop and say hello if you see us.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.